That's a bit weird, I've got no sound. But welcome back, everyone, to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Apologies for that, a small technical fault with the game. But we are back for qualifying, and plenty of people out and about. I will apologise as well if you can hear me or Bruce have a bit of a cough. We're not quite 100%, but we're still here. But yeah, Bruce, we were saying, obviously Hungary, hard track as people go out for their qualifying runs. You kind of want to get this first one, you definitely want to bank a lap around Hungary.
Yeah, it makes sense to. Obviously, I think yesterday in Tier 3 we saw a few guys not even get a banker lap in. They crashed out before they'd even had a chance to put one in. So, yeah, it makes sense to take it, fairly, drive maybe 95% on your first lap just to get one in there, just to make sure you aren't languishing at the back.
Absolutely, I think this is one of the Red Bulls Ricey Spicy coming to the line. Let's pick someone else. Who else we got coming up? We got Joe. I tell you were quicker than me last night in qualifying. Do you want to jump on board, Joe? Take us through a lap.
Bear with me 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm just finding Joe. Here he comes. Right, okay. So he's around the last corner here. Nice to get a good exit on that one and try and ping the. Ping the ERS. You've got it automatically in qualifying, so I'm talking a bit of rubbish there, but it's fine. Through turn 1, you need to get a nice smooth round there as well. Quite important. You get over to the right hand side then for turn 2. Turn 3, realistically now, should be a pretty flat blast. Coming up now to probably one of the trickier corners. Very easy to lose control of the car here on the exit curb. But he's done well there through turn 4. Turn 5 is a corner that can have multiple lines, really. It's a bit of a strange one. You got the chicane here, careful not to clobber the curbs too much. And then coming up to the S's, again an area where really you can accidentally hook the inside wheel a bit too much, can send you around. The Red Bull there, I think, getting out of the way. This one here in particular can be very iffy. And then yes, coming down towards the end of the lap into the last sector. And really from here, there's no real danger as such. Just got to get nice and smooth through the corners. And yeah, coming up to the last corner now. Again, keep it nice and tight. Watching the wall on the inside, he's had to back out that a little bit there, I think, Joe. But a good start there. Puts him up to 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, he did back out of that last corner, so it's time to find for Joe Hamster. But Kuiper's the current man on pole position. Who else we got? Darren 17th. He's in the pits at the moment. We'll come back to Melonade and his special commentary name later. Who else we got coming through? Blackside CZE. We've also got both the McLarens come to start their flying laps.
Yeah, Matty Rudd here with Ruddo not far behind him, so I don't know whether this is a plan, is to maybe if Ruddo can get some sort of draft off the back of Matty or not. Although we're on board with Matty, so he's maybe trying to get a draft off Ruddo. Sorry. Yeah, strange for two teammates to start so close to each other. Maybe it's for sort of reference points for Matty to help him.
Yeah, it could be, or as Matty's invalidated that lap as we speak.
A bit wide there through T4, I think.
But yeah, Ruddo in the McLaren. He had a good start at China. P3, if memory serves me correctly, because obviously if you weren't here last week, round 2 at Azerbaijan became null and void and is to be rerun, I believe, in what is meant to be the break week. Due to multiple different factors. So even though this is technically round 3 of the championship, this is the second race that these guys are going to be fighting for points. So right, a good start to his championship so far. Just got to get through the final corner in qualifying. What can he do on his first run? Oh, just goes a little bit wide. You've got to be careful at that last string. So if you go too wide, it will invalidate your lap, but it is 4th so far.
Yeah, it looked like Ruddo maybe just slightly missed the apex on the last corner there. I don't know if it was enough to make a difference from 4th, whether he'd have got any higher than that, but still a good start. Like you say, it's nice to get that banker lap in, really.
And down in 19th, good old Melanado. He's down as reserve this season, which is a bit of a shame because he can't make every race. But yeah, Melanado going up for his first lap, and a bit of a funny story behind his nickname, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I vaguely remember last season we were tasked with doing some names for some new graphics, and well, I think we end up putting him down as Pastor Melanado, and end up just sticking. I think so. He's now Melanado, even though it clearly doesn't say that. That's what he's affectionately known as at IRL at the moment. So, and it's great, to see him. I think this is his first race of the season. He's made the trip up there. He's gone up the stairs from tier 3 to tier 2, and it'd be interesting to see how he performs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he definitely showed a lot of pace in Tier 3 last season, just didn't quite have the luck at times. Was he sitting in for the Williams team? I believe SFR Martin would normally be sat in that seat, but unfortunately he's unable to join, I believe, due to a TV error. Which is a bit of a shame. But Melanado coming down through Sector 2 into Sector 3, obviously. Like I say, it's a really weird Sector 3. It's not a massively complex section, but it's very easy to spin out on if you're not careful due to the traction zones.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what he does here as he comes across the line. 16th, that's not too bad to start, really, and I'm guessing he's probably had a little bit of time out of the seat, really, from missing the first 1.5 races. So he'll be happy with that. I think that's not a bad effort to start.
No, absolutely. I think we are starting to see those with second runs coming out of the carriage. I think Ivan's one of them.
Yeah, just got on board with Ivan now. He is the first, I think, maybe to start his second attempt.
Meanwhile, Scotty has taken pole position in the meantime with a 1:16.4. So he did take pole position at Azerbaijan, did Scotty, so he's definitely got a lot of pace to offer here.
Just watching Ivan now coming up to the end of the first sector. He's about the same as where he was on the first run. He's very, very similar time. So he's still there or thereabouts. I mean, he only needs to gain 2/10. It'll be interesting to see whether he can do that in the middle sector now.
I mean, this middle sector is, if you're going to gain time, this is where you're going to do it, because if you haven't quite got the traction right in the first one, you get it right in the second, you can gain a lot of time through this second sector. As Lucas is retired, out to turn 5.
10th up. Ivan is currently a 10th up now, heading into the last sector. Oh, bit of wheel spin there. Not ideal.
Up to the last corner then for Ivan. What can he produce on this second run? And the answer is a 1:16.369, so provisional pole position is what he can produce.
Yeah. He definitely lost a little bit with that wiggle. It was, it wasn't ideal, but he's still done the business there.
Simply currently sat in 5th at the moment. He's just going through Sector 2 now. He does have a Ferrari ahead of him, but I think he's on a lap. I think that might be JC Battigal. But yeah, Ads Lucas found the wall, I think, at turn 5, which we were talking about earlier, Bruce. I think he probably just clipped the curb, which is infamous on F1 games nowadays for spinning cars.
Yeah, it's pretty treacherous through there, and especially, you want to be leaning on the car, but there's just this sort of snap point, really, where if you just lean on it a little bit too much, and the car just doesn't like it, really. It can sometimes feel like you haven't done anything different to the previous lap, but yeah, it's one of those places.
Meanwhile, JC Bassigal's spun out the final corner, so that's his latest attempt, probably ruined on that one. So not ideal for JC Bassigal, but he'll have at least one more run in this session. Got Sunboy in the Williams. He's just coming into the pits.
Just moved up to second now, and he's only 1/100th away from Ivan. Very, very close.
Russman just coming through sector 2. He's a second down though, so not a great lap, or at least maybe a second installation lap as Matty Rudd goes on to his second attempt.
Looks like Ruddo was slightly up on his best time, but he's invalidated his lap, unfortunately. So I think he's going slow to maybe have another go on this lap. No, he's pitting now, Ruddo, so he's abandoned that run.
It's not a massively long track, this, but it feels like these drivers there, if they make one mistake, that's it. They're into the pit, just to make sure they can get that new set of tyres in preparation for that last run.
Yeah, time can sometimes run away with you, and you don't really realise exactly how close it is to the end of the lap. Batagol's just 3.5 seconds slow. I think that's because of his spin, so I think he must be surely going for another run now.
Matty Rudd just completing sector 2. Obviously, we don't have whether he's up or down because he hasn't technically set a time yet. As he heads through the last couple of corners, he was another one who had a good race at China. I mean, he was lucky that he kind of semi-lucky with Azerbaijan because he wasn't able to race. But where does this put him? Keeps him in 20th. So a little bit of work to do for Matty, but I wonder if he's gone out on the same set of softs that he did earlier.
Possible. He might be trying to conserve a set. Obviously, in the race, you want to really have as much up your sleeve as possible. And sometimes that's a case of saving a set, really, from qualifying for the race. Watching JC Batagol now, he's very similar to his previous lap time of a 1:17.0. He's just coming up to penultimate corner now. Continuing around the last corner.
Melanie's just finished his lap. Ricey did go quicker. I think it's Batagol coming across the line. Yep.
Yeah, he's just 300 slower than his previous best. So
Eric Pancake's on that outlap. I think we're now in that transition again, whereby everyone is either just finishing their second lap or going on to that outlap for their last one, as Eric Pancakes is.
yeah, it looks like Eric's going around to start flying lap. I'm assuming he's going to be the first person doing his last run by the looks of this.
Yeah, got to be careful. So someone just coming out of the pit lane. I think that's an Alpine. Luckily, he stayed where he is, which is very good to see. As Eric goes through the first. Yeah, as Eric goes through the first one. We haven't really spoken much about Eric this season. Obviously, again, another person who's made the step up to Tier 2. And at the end of last season, again, like most of the drivers that are having promoted, showed really good pace come the end of it. It'd be interesting to see where he sits in for this season.
Yeah, I think anyone coming up from Tier 2 really would... from Tier 3 would probably be happy with sort of mixing it in the midfield to start the season. And it's all about learning, really. You sort of... When you're around slightly faster people than the previous season, you'll pick up your pace bit by bit through the season. And hopefully towards the end of it, you sort of start challenging for podiums.
Absolutely, as Eric just coming through 13 up to 14, he's actually decided to abandon that lap, which is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, he's going to be up against it time-wise now. It's doable to get in and get another set of softs on and get out again. So he could be going from doing the first person to set a lap to being possibly the last person to set a lap.
Yeah, looks like Scotty's just coming to start his last run. Joe Hampster's starting.
I mean, it shows the competitive nature of this. We're looking at the moment, the top nigh on 18 are covered by 1 second. It's pretty bonkers stuff, really. And you know, even if you can just find a couple of tenths, it's enough to make a big difference on the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when you look at Blackside and Matty, you know those guys have got time in them. So you could have potentially the whole grid covered by a whole second, which is phenomenal to see, really, considering the number of drivers in the lobby. Obviously, a full 20. Nothing better than seeing them as close as this.
Absolutely. I'm just watching Kent at the moment. He's 2 tenths up, which will pop him in just inside the top 10, I think, if he can nail this last corner. And he's up to 8th.
Good time that from Kent. I think that's Russman just coming across the line, possibly to start. But we have Scotty just coming around the last corner.
See what he does a minute before I say anything.
Doesn't go any quicker. Just a surprise from Scotty.
Pancakes. Unfortunately, he has been off into the barrier on his outlap and has lost his front wing, so that's him done for qualifying, I'm afraid.
Not ideal there for Eric, but he's still currently 12th. So not all is lost. I do believe as well, Ryan XLFC in the Ferrari has been promoted to a full-time driver now in the Ferrari camp. See, he was a reserve when he won at China. He comes across the line. What can he do this time around? It's 10th quickest so far with a 1:16.788. But yeah, good to see, obviously, that he's been promoted up to a full-time drive. Matty Rudd goes 16th with a 1:17.1. What can his brother do? As Kuipers puts in a 15.9 for pole position. That's a phenomenal time, really. And Ruddo, I think, potentially starting a lap now.
I believe he is, yeah. I think he is just starting his final lap. So he just snuck over the line there as time ran out, I believe. It was very, very tight.
Ivan does a 16.2, but Kuipers 3/10 quicker than anyone at the moment. Can any of the drivers here beat Kuipers' time? I mean, that is a phenomenal time. I mean, the only man in the 15 so far.
Watching Joe Hamster here coming in the last corner. He's just a couple of places gained there, up to 16th.
Keza puts in a 1:16.4. That puts him up into 5th place. So
Watching
good
JC
luck for the Haas.
This could be good for Batagol. Up to 9th.
Ryan just coming into the pits, as is that AlphaTauri and the McLaren. Kuipers being in the pits. There's a Mercedes out and about. That's Ginger Tiger.
So I will keep an eye on Ruddo a minute, who has invalidated, unfortunately. So he's done.
Not many people here.
I think that's it. I think everyone is done, I believe.
Yes, it very much looks that way. So it is Kuipers, who is on pole position with a 1:15.9, 3/10 clear of anyone, which is an amazing feat, really, in this tier.
Yeah, that's some lappy pulled out there at the end, and obviously I was going from saying that the top 17, 18 covered by a second. He's changed that now from the top, well, from second to 18th covered by a second. So yeah, that's quite good. I think he'll be pleased with that. It'll give him a lot of confidence going into the race if he can get a good start.
No, absolutely. It's good to see a nice mixed grid, but it's looking good for the AlphaTauri and the Haas team. Both their all those drivers up near the top. But we have a very long race to go, 35 laps of racing. And Bruce, would you like to take us through the grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix?
Absolutely. So with an excellent lap in the AlphaTauri, it's Kuipers, and joining them on the front row is Ivan Beloff in the Haas. Third and fourth is Simply 90 and Scotty. Fifth and sixth is Keza and Sunboy. Ruddo 7th and Ginger Tiger 8th on the fourth row. JC Batagorn and Owen 9th and 10th. 11th and 12th is Kent and Ryan. 13th and 14th is Ricey Spicy and Eric Pancakes. Ads Lucas and Joe Hamster 15th and 16th. Matty Rudd, Melanade 17th and 18th. And Russman and Blackside bringing up the back of the pack on the back of the grid.
Thank you very much. And obviously, we saw last night the safety car isn't afraid to make an appearance on Hungary, but it also depends what sort of weather conditions we have. I think, for this race.
I believe, from what I've been told, the weather is going to be dry. But you're right, the safety car could still make plenty of appearances. I think it led the most laps yesterday of anyone. So yeah, there's every chance it could mix things up a little bit. And obviously, when the safety car comes out, it mixes up strategies. There's the chance, obviously, to make an early pit stop, but then you fall behind plenty of cars. So then it's whether it's the risk of taking that pit stop and thinking you can get back past through everyone. So yeah, it's one of those tracks where you really have to think on the go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, if it's a dry race, I mean, what sort of strategy are you looking? Because obviously, track position here is quite critical. However, I would, I mean, you're thinking surely that it depends where you're starting. If you're in the top 10, you're probably looking to go on the mediums and secure that position. But if you're in the latter half, you're maybe looking at the hard tyres and looking at more of a trying to get a long-term gain, but have the faster tyre at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw yesterday there was quite a mix of tyre choices even in the top 10. Um, the mediums are the safe bet. It covers any early safety cars as well. Um, yeah, it's a tricky one. It can work both ways really. A lot depends on the luck of what happens during the race.
Yeah, as we just wait the drivers to get their strategies and starting tyres. So thank you for anyone that has only just joined. This is the Invictus Racing League Season 16 Tier 2, round number 3 for the Hungarian Grand Prix in partnership with gridfinder.com. And Kuipers is the man on pole position with a 1:15.9. We've got 35 laps of this Hungarian Grand Prix as the timer starts to tick down for the start of this race. So you get the formation lap first, followed by the race itself. Obviously, if you want to predict a podium, I don't think me and Bruce will want to try and predict it, but if you fancy predicting that the podium, be our guest and comment it in the stream.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I think it could be a long race. The last night's race was nearly an hour, I believe. So yeah, it could be time for everyone to sit down, get their napkins ready for a feast of racing.
So here we go then, the formation lap is underway. I'll just leave you in the capable hands of Bruce for 5 seconds.
Sounds like a very dangerous thing to do. But yeah, as the guys here make their way onto the formation lap. No changes in position yet, but no, it's one of those here now where you've got to get your tyres nice and warm, especially if you're on hard tyres. Let's have a quick look a minute and see what everyone's on. We've got the first hard tyre runner is Scotty in fourth, and some boy just behind him, so they'll want to get as much heat in their tyres as they can leading up to the start. Hope that the guys at the back of the grid aren't taking forever to line up. Yeah, again, GP8, so as we said before, there's a fair mix of tyre choices there.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously those starting on the hards are definitely looking for that advantage at the end because we know the mediums are a lot quicker compared to the hards. Obviously, the biggest issue here, being the type of circuit is trying to find the place to get past. As we saw last night, people with varying setups in terms of their downforce. Obviously, if you don't have very high, if you have high downforce, it's really hard to use those DRS zones to overtake those with a lower downforce setup. However, you're so quick through the middle sectors that you have to try and almost force the error to open the door.
Yeah, definitely. It adds to the, as I was saying before, the patience side of things as well. You know, there's no use just throwing one down the inside. Sometimes you've got to take a calculated risk and wait till the moment's right. And you know, it's a long race. There will be opportunities. Yeah, it's being sensible and getting to the end. Really, there's no use if you're going backwards into a corner. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how everyone approaches this. I think really Scott he could be in danger here off the start. He's going to have a monster start here to keep the likes of Keza and Ruddo and Ginger Tiger behind him, who are on the medium.
Yeah, as the drivers line up on the grid, Ivan gets his parking wrong. You just saw the strategies on your screen, either a one-stop medium to hard or a two-stop soft and two sets of mediums. And we're kind of looking from the back end of the grid here, which is not really the ideal camera, but we'll work with it. We have the 5 red lights, and we are racing at Hungarian. Who's got the best getaway? We won't know because we're looking at the back of the pack, but there we go. And it looks like Ivan's got the best getaway. Scotty up to second, so a great start on those hard compound tyres. Up towards turn 1 for the first time in this race. Kuipers and Simply side by side as we head through for the first time. Looks like, I think we've got a Red Bull spinning in the background. That's Ricey Spicy. But other than that, looks like a fairly clean getaway. As we have a battle for the lead. Scotty trying to go around the outside of turn 2, not quite making it work. And everyone starts to settle down as we head up towards turn 4, which ideally you're going to want to be single file.
Yeah, it looked like quite a fairly lazy half spin there from Ricey Spicy. I'm not sure what happened. I don't think there was contact. He just maybe got hooked up on the inside curb and it just dragged the car around a little bit, but he kept it out of the wall and he's going again. And really with this race in the early stages, he should... Oh, that's Eric Pancakes has gone round, so that's both Red Bulls at the back now. I think he was trying to go side by side through the chicane with someone that just didn't quite work.
Yeah, so not a good start if you're a Red Bull fan, but as we say, long race to go. And the gap's very, very close, but no one able to yet make any further advances. But, I mean, you have to say that was a good... was Joe Hamster was looking up the inside of Kent there for just a second. You have to say a good start from Scotty on those hard tyres, though. I mean, we weren't quite expecting that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Russman's round as well now, penultimate corner. Obviously, I was saying that Scotty would need to get a monster start to keep the guys behind him, but he's just overtaking people instead. So it saves worrying about people behind you when you're overtaking people, I suppose.
Yeah, Matty Rudd in the pits for, I would assume, damage, so potentially a bit of contact during that first lap.
Yeah, I mean, Russman was round at the penultimate corner, so whether they were involved with each other, I'm not sure. I wouldn't like to say because I didn't see it, but yeah, not the best start. That's 4 cars now that have had a bit of an awkward start. And Melanado's just dropped off the back of Blackside and off the back of the pack a little bit there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently having a look at this battle for 10th. We have Sunboy, Kent and Joe Hamster all in a line. I know Ginger Tiger did get past Ruddo as well in that opening exchange. So we'll keep an eye on that one because I think Ruddo is looking to retake that place from the Mercedes.
Yeah, he appears to be creeping back up on the back of Ginger Tiger now. But obviously we're going to have, obviously not this lap now, but DRS will be activated very shortly. Could be a bit of a train here. But Ivan has broken the 1 second barrier.
Yeah, which is not surprising. I think Kuiper's looking to try and get past Scott. He should have DRS down. Oh no, won't, because the detection point is before the last corner. But you have to feel for Kuiper's in this battle with Ivan. He's going to have to get rid of Scotty very, very quickly and make use of those medium tyres.
Absolutely. Matty Rudd's back in the pits again, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Yeah, I mean, Kuiper's really with the mediums. Hopefully for him, he can keep in close behind Scotty, so when they come out the last corner, he can absolutely blast that DRS and ERS and make the move, because at the moment there's a risk here, you know, that Ivan could start pulling a bit of a gap, but Scotty seems to have pegged it back a little bit now.
Yeah, Kent's managed to get past Sunboy, so he's now up into the top 10. And Joe Hamster looking to do the same. Oh, Joe Hamster's round into the wall, and that is out for Joe Hamster just as he was starting to get on the back, and that is a virtual safety car here on lap number 3. Joe just losing the back end. That's through turn 11, and unfortunately that is the end of the Aston Martin's race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that for Joe. Surprised it wasn't a safety car. He's obviously sort of run out of tread after doing so many laps yesterday, I'm guessing. But yeah, a bit of a shame that for Jay. It's again, as I was saying in qualifying, that's one of those tricky corners that can really bite you when you get it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was just starting to creep onto the back of some boy on the medium compound. So yeah, he was just starting to shape up the move, but obviously race neutralised at this point. No overtaking. However, on the positive side for those that are within the DRS, once this virtual safety car ends, DRS becomes immediately active, which is perfect for the likes of Kuipers, who is just a couple of tenths in all reality behind Scotty here.
That is absolutely
Oh, and
true.
Ricey Spicy drive-through penalty. And I think Melanado's got one as well.
That's painful. That's not ideal. I think they're back green again now. Yeah, with virtual safety car as well, sometimes you can be a bit sneaky, and if the car in front snoozing a bit on their delta, you can chip a little bit into that gap as well. But if anything, it looks like Kuipers has dropped a couple of tenths off Scotty during that.
Yeah, he does have DRS, but I'm not sure he's close enough here. Just have a little look, but thinks better of it.
Ryan is very close to Ads Lucas, who defends. And yeah, no, nothing's changed there. So a run down now to turn 2, but I think it's going to be difficult because Lucas obviously has DRS as well from some boy in front, so it's a bit of status quo there.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, he's having a little nose up towards 4. This would be brave. Oh, it's very brave all over the curb, but it's not. Oh, Ads Lucas is round into the barrier. I'm not quite sure if there was any sort of contact. It didn't look like there was any contact. It looked like Ads Lucas maybe took too much of the inside curb there. But it was an audacious move.
Ryan was quite wide of him, so I wonder whether or not Ads Lucas just gave him an extra little bit of space. And there's a yellow flag as well now.
Kuipers is round.
Backwards.
And Melanado has retired.
Out.
And this time we do have a full safety car.
Yeah, so this is good news for the likes of Matty Rudd. And he's gone on the left there, Melanado, by the looks of it. So before he got to turn 11. But yeah, the likes now of Eric Pancakes Russman and Matty Rudd would be delighted it's a full safety car. It gives them a chance to get back into the race now. Yeah, and it's potential. I don't know if it's too early now, really, for mediums to go to hards. It would possibly be a bit risky. Be interesting to see what everyone tries to do now.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest problems here is actually going to be for Ricey Spicy, because I think he's got a drive-through penalty, which you're not allowed to serve under the safety car.
Yeah, that's very true. It's not going to help him much. All he can do really, I guess, is serve that drive through and hope there's another safety car further into the race. It looks like Ginger Tiger, Ryan and Kuipers have all gone to hard tyres now, so maybe they're hoping they can get to the end of the race on those.
Yeah, so the people who have stopped so far in this race is Ginger Tiger, Ryan, Kuipers, Ads Lucas, Russman and Matty Rudd's done 2 stops in this race. I suspect the second one was because the first one didn't change his front wing.
Yeah, it's quite likely. Ads Lucas has switched to the mediums from the hards, but obviously he's not going to be able to do 29 laps on mediums. I mean, he could try, but I think it would be very much metal on concrete by the end of the race.
Yeah, it's. I think for the hards, it's just about doable. I mean, you do have to look after them just a little bit, but I think it's just about doable on the hards. You're not going to have much grip come the end of this race.
Again, something I was alluding to earlier, though, here now, really, for the likes of Ginger Tiger, is that obviously they can change. They've changed the hards now, but being down in 12th, it gives someone like Ivan, who's at the front on the mediums, a big chance now to gap those guys who have stopped for hards already, to then maybe make that tyre change sort of nullified because he'll have such a big gap. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. and obviously he'll be on much newer hards come the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. As everyone heads down towards turn 2 behind the safety car. The first time this evening the safety car has made an appearance with Bert Mylander in it.
Yeah, you'd like to think it would probably be the last time we see it, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. It's there's so little runoff in places, and the places on this game where do catch the cars out are the places where the barriers tend to be closest. So, yeah, there's still plenty of racing to go here, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how everyone's strategy plays out here, because I mean, we're probably not expecting the medium runners in now until probably about lap, I don't know, 16 to 20 in that sort of area, because obviously we've had like a lap or two of virtual safety car. We're now under the full safety car, which is all helpful in the tyre wear department.
Yeah, it definitely elongates that stint. Obviously, what they don't want to do, I think safety car will be in the end of this lap by the looks of it, but what they don't want to do is run the medium slightly too long, where they find there's that sort of crossover point with the hards, and that they'd actually be quicker on hard. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see now. But yeah, Ivan Belov taking up the head of the field here.
Yeah, as we are preparing to go racing once again, the question is, how late does Ivan go? Still not gone yet. Still not gone yet. He's still weaving, and now he gets going. Everyone fully bunched up behind him. And it looks like we're going to be 3 wide coming down towards the first corner. Not quite 3 wide, but side by side between Simply 90 and Keza. JC Bascal looking for a little bit of a switchback. Can't quite do it, as Simply stays in 4th place. Keza in 3rd. Ruddo's obviously into 6th. More side by side between Blackside and that is Sunboy. As they head side by side, Sunboy going up into 9th place there. So nice little move from the Alpine.
Great move, slightly further back from Kuipers. He was side by side with Ryan, I think it was, coming out of turn 1, and he just got checked up a little bit behind Ginger Tiger, but then managed to somehow sneak all the way around the outside of Ginger Tiger through turn 2 and get past both of them. So that's a great move from Kuipers there.
We got more moves going on as Sunboy tried to get past Owen. Kent has got past JC Battagle in the chicane. I think Ads Lucas has gone round. There's a yellow flag for it. And there is Keza. What's happened to Keza? He's spun at Joe Hamster's corner at turn 11.
Yeah, there seemed to be quite a lot of bunching there towards the back, and Ginger dropped down a bit, and then when I went on board with him, he just tapped the back of Lucas as well. So it looked a bit messy all around, not from Ginger Tiger's point of view, but just there were cars everywhere going at very differing speeds, and it just got a bit complicated by the looks of it.
Absolutely. Kuipers, another good move at the penultimate corner to get himself up into the top 10 once again. And JC Battagle also lost a couple more positions on that lap, so not ideal from him. Blackside on the tail of some boys, we head through turn 2.
Yeah, Lucas was on, I believe he was on mediums, and he's just switched to softs. Not a choice I'd have made. I think they've gone for hards there to go to the end of the race. But yeah, that's going to mean at least another 1 pit stop for Lucas there, and he's going to be a driver now, hoping for another safety car.
Yeah, it's an interesting strat that from Mads Lucas, because it doesn't even give him the opportunity just to go to the end, as Kuipers looking for a move on Blackside through the second sector. Can't quite do it yet. Looks once again into turn 12. Again, decides better of it. Number 99 AlphaTauri. He is absolutely flying through this field.
Yeah, it's definitely the restart he'd have wanted. It's putting him into a tidy position now. He's at the head of the guys that are already pitted. Obviously, Ryan's very close behind him still. But yeah, technically with that free pit stop, I think you're probably looking at about What do you reckon, JP? A 23, 24-second pit stop maybe around here? It's quite slow, isn't it? So
It's about that, as I think that's Matty Rudd has gone round at turn 1.
So, yeah, at the moment, Kuipers is looking pretty good at the moment for being in the net lead of this race.
And there's our first time penalty of the evening for multiple track infringements. It is Blackside in the Alfa Romeo. And, oh, Ricey Spicy out. Is this going to be another safety car? Yes, it is.
Another one. That's exactly what Lucas wanted. Yeah, he's gone round there on the exit of turn 3, I believe that one is. Again, one of those tricky spots. You just can't push too hard on those curbs because they'll just spit you off.
Yeah, absolutely. What does Ivan do here? Ivan's coming in the pits. He's looking for the free pit stop, but I think Kuipers is far too close to him. I mean, you do get a reduced pit stop, but I don't think it's that much.
I think you're right. I think Kuipers will be ahead of him, but I don't think Ivan really has a choice. When you're gifted the opportunity to have a 10-second loss over a 20-second loss, then you've got to take it, really. And I'm surprised that no one else has really taken that opportunity. Well, a couple have, sorry, by the looks of it.
I see that, but Kuipers made a mistake at the end of that lap.
He was.
He should be ahead.
He was
should be
fighting with
Blackside.
Ryan. He was fighting with Ryan, wasn't he? Yeah. So Kuipers was obviously gone wrong somewhere along the line there, which puts Ryan in a great position now. Obviously, Ryan, I believe, finished top 2 in China. Was he second, I believe? So behind Lewis, was it? I think it was. So yeah, this is working out well now for Ryan and Ginger Tiger too.
Well, once the safety car is on, I'm going to quickly go and leave in the hands of Bruce in the meantime whilst I get back. So yeah, I'll leave it on Scotty whilst the drives go round behind the safety car once again.
Yeah, definitely could be interesting this. I think there's a few people here as well. Bit of a surprise that Lucas hasn't come in to put his hards back on. He's maybe has a plan that none of us are thinking of. There's some sort of genius alternate plan. But yeah, once again the safety car out for the second time. Just waiting. And I should have thought hopefully at the end of this next lap we'll get going green again. We've just got Lucas and Keza now joining up to the back of the pack. Keza, again, another driver who will be pleased after his spin to have the safety car out again. And I think the one thing as well with some of the guys that have made mistakes and changed tyres already, it's going to put them in an interesting position too. Because someone like Matty Rudd here, who's obviously done 3 laps on the hards, he's done 9 laps now on the mediums. He's not going to make it on the mediums. He's going to have to come in again. He's going to need a lot of interesting changes in this race to bring him back into it. And Ginger Tiger, I don't know what's happened there, but Ginger Tiger is slowly rejoining. He's just dropped a fair few places there. Now I think the game is trying to get him to overtake some people. So yeah, Ginger Tiger has lost control of the car from 8th position, now in 11th. That is not ideal.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think Ginger Tiger's actually lost his front wing and all that.
And yeah, it would seem so. Anyway, we're going green, I believe, again.
So here we go. Once again, lap number 12, we go racing once more. Scotty, followed by Kent and Owen. JC Battigal in 4th. And a little bit of action. Black side looking to the outside of Sunboy. Here comes Battigal and spinning for Sunboy. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
I think a little touch there from Ryan going into turn 1. The door was sort of half open, and I think Ryan looked like he was going to go for it, and he tried backing out of it, but it was just too late. And now he's round. Ryan's round into the wall, and his front wing's gone.
Not ideal then for the Ferrari. As we head through, looks like Sunboy now up into 15th after his earlier spin. Ruddo currently 11th. Ivan and Eric.
I mean, this is turning into the race that no one wants to win, really, because Kuiper's dropped some places, and then that put both Ryan and Ginger Tiger into a great position. And
Ruddo and Simply, sorry, Bruce. Ruddo and Simply side by side through the second sector. They've Simply runs a little bit wide again. We've got a spinner in the background. That's Az Lucas. But Ruddo manages to get up into P9 ahead of Simply. That all stemmed from the chicane, because it looked like people tried to go almost three wide through that chicane in the middle of the lap, which was never really going to work. So Eric Pancakes was the person who lost out most there. He's down to 13th. But Ruddo up to 9th, but he's 2.6 behind Ivan, so he's going to have to shake off Simply before this DRS gets activated once again.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a hell of a lot in one lap there. There was definitely a few interesting moves, and as you say, 3 wide into the chicane is definitely never going to work out well. There's always going to be a loser. We've got a yellow flag in section. Oh, no, okay, I think that's a retirement from Ryan. He's bailed out of the race in the pits, unfortunately. But yeah, that's changed a hell of a lot. Matty Rudd's made his way up to 6th somehow in all that. I'm not sure how that's happened, but he's there. That's a great effort so far. PC guys currently dominating the top 3 at the moment and keeping their noses clean.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, JC Battigal isn't far behind. Obviously, the top 5 yet to pit in this race. But yeah, Kuiper is behind Matty Rudd here.
You'd have to say at the moment, if this remains green for the rest of the race, you're looking really at the guys there from 7th down to 12th that are in with a shout of the race win. Everyone else is probably going to have to pit again, at least once. When Ruddo bangs in the fastest lap of the race, so he's meaning business here. He's going to want to close the gap on Ivan and join in the front for what probably is the net race lead there.
Yeah, I mean, he's 1.7 from Ivan. I mean, the only thing with Rudd is, I wonder how much ERS he's using to try and pull this gap in. The Ginger Tiger puts in a 98, but on soft compound tyres. I mean, me and you tend to talk about ERS quite a lot, but it's one of those things that's a mass. I say on this year's game, it's a massive weapon, especially if your opponent doesn't have any new do. Kez has lost connection to the car.
Yeah, it's especially around a circuit like this as well, where you generally sort of running fairly high wing settings. So you're going to have a lot of drag down the straights. You're going to need that extra bit of power to help you overtake the guy in front, because the high speed difference isn't going to be that much without that extra boost. Obviously, unless you're in DRS, which helps. So yeah, you don't want to be in front, but sitting on very little ERS as Blackside enters the pits. So I assume now to change to hards.
It's a bit of a weird decision. I'd have probably tried to go a little bit longer on those mediums, but just seems like the bog standard pit-in lap, as Matty gets turn 1 a little bit wrong, slides on the exit. Here comes Kuipers. I don't think Matty Red's going to have much to answer this with. Bit of contact on the sidewalls of the tyres, but it is Kuipers who gets the move done through turn 2. And yeah, just capitalising on Matty's mistake there. He just ran a little bit wide and slid the rear ended Matty, and it was enough to give Kuipers that little bit of an open door.
Yeah, obviously, on like you say, on such old tyres now, Matty's going to struggle that a little bit more, but he's always going to want to fight Kuipers, and equally so, he's going to want to fight Ivan next to try and help out Matty as much as possible, help out Ruddo as much as possible, his teammate. And just that one little battle there has closed the gap there. Ruddo's now right on Ivan Belov.
Yeah, and the way this is going, it's going to bring Simply and Russman into the fray as well. Ivan practically pushing Matty Rudd through turn 12, and here comes Ruddo down the inside of 13, ever the opportunistic, and immediately Matty gives way to the teammate. That is very, very clever driving from the McLaren boys and superb teamwork, but I fear Matty might get overtaken, although he does have DRS, so if he might mash that ERS button as well, given a little bit of a draft by his teammate. But here comes Ivan round the outside. Have a little bit of contact.
He's defending for his life, Matty, but I think it's only a matter of time. I think this will be Ivan now through here. And yeah, that'll be that one done, I think, now.
I mean, look at that. I mean, he's given Ruddo 8/10 of a gap here to Ivan. So you have to say teamwork very much achieved there from the McLaren team.
Yeah, definitely some very clever track positioning, all well within the rules, and yeah, brilliant bit of work from the McLaren boys there to make that happen. Yeah, again, now I think Matty's gonna probably go for a few more laps here and try and make life difficult for Simply and Russman behind as well. But yeah, Matty really is gonna have to pit soon because those tyres are going to be screaming at him.
I mean, it does make you wonder. I mean, we are both assuming he's going to go on to the hards next, but I don't know. I can't remember what tyre he started on, Matty. I mean, he may well be able to get to, say, lap 20 and put on another set of mediums, because the mediums will do 15 laps, as that's Ruddo in the wall at the final corner.
Yeah, he's lost it there on the exit. You normally see cars go to the inside, not the outside, so I'm not sure what's happened there, but that's a big shame for Ruddo. After that excellent bit of team driving there with Matty, to now, yeah, it was all for nothing by the seams of it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Matty Rudd's also been overtaken by Simply and Russman now. Obviously, he wouldn't have had any DRS assistance, so a bit of a shame for Matty, and a big shame, yeah, like I say, for Ruddo. I mean, he was starting to look in good shape, but just it is a weird one. It's almost like the car's slid and it's just snapped back on him as he's gone to catch it. So it's really the only real explanation I can think of to be on the outside wall of that corner. But Kuiper's getting up close to the back of JC Battigal now.
Yeah, he is starting to close the gap now. I was about to say the same thing too, but he's yeah, Kuiper's now, like you say, he's closing up to Battigal, and he's also going to be closing on Kent very, very quickly. I know he's only got a 5-lap difference in tyres, but it will make a big difference around here. The big thing to watch out for now, as well as I think Ivan Belov is chipping away at Kuipers too, so this could get quite interesting very, very soon.
Kuipers has a little look down the inside. You'll get a second bite of DRS down towards turn 2. It's a bit interesting though for Kuipers. It looked like the DRS opened then closed, almost like he had to tap the brakes to stop the car from sliding there, so he didn't exactly get the perfect exit out of turn 1.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to get past anyway. So whether or not that would have made a difference to getting the pass on, I don't know. But really, he's going to be wanting to get past here, going on to the next lap, and try and put a car between him and Ivan. Really.
I mean, the more interesting thing here is I think JC Battigal is slowly closing on Kent as well. So this is going to help JC because he's going to have DRS.
I think, I believe, looking at the times, Keza has control again of his car, luckily.
Yeah, so, and the leaders have come into the pits of Scotty and Owen.
Okay.
So they've relinquished the lead. As we know, Kuipers and Ivan net P1 and P2 because Kent and JC Battle still yet to pit in this race. But could we see a bit of Fernando Alonso-esque drive here from Kent to try and help his teammate of Owen? Although I must admit, Owen down in 11th place. It's going to have to be one mega drive by him. Although,
and Batagol's reigned. JC's reigned.
As we see it live through turn 3, he's very lucky not to hit the wall there, the Ferrari.
Yeah, again, it just looked like, I don't know whether he just caught the inside curve a bit too much. Again, it was quite a lazy spin into it. It wasn't. He seemed to scrub a lot of speed off. Hence why he didn't hit the wall, because he just, by the time he'd completed his rotation, he was going quite slow. So yeah, quite lucky. Probably could be a signal to come in to get mediums on, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we talk about. Obviously, we've got Owen down in 11th and Scotty in 10th. I guess the biggest thing for them is how quickly do the other drivers' tyres go off? Because obviously they're all going to have to do quite a long stint as Kent now comes into the pits. They've all got a very long stint here on those tyres. So the question is can Scotty and Owen make up enough time quickly enough whilst the other drivers' tyres do start to go off?
Yeah, you'd have to think they're not, time-wise, it's going to be very difficult for them to catch the top 5. So they'd be probably looking at fighting for 6th place, I think. But you never know. I guess a lot depends on safety cars again. You know, one safety car here could bring them right back into the race at the front.
Yeah, as Matty Rudd and Sunboy are having a little bit of a battle. Ginger Tiger back in the pits for a new set of mediums for him. Yeah, Matty Rudd getting overtaken, I believe, by Sunboy there in through turn 1. So, I mean, technically Matty Rudd is ahead of JC Batagor now. So that is one place in his favour. But as we've seen, Kent down to 12th. So Matty Rudd's probably looking at 13th, that 12th, 13th place area for coming out of the pits. So again, he's another one of the drivers that's going to have a lot of work to do come the end of this race. Meanwhile, Ivan, I think, is very slowly starting to catch up to Kuipers. Now, he does have 5-lap fresher tyres than Ivan.
Yeah, could be quite a big difference there by the time they get to the end of the race. I mean, Kuipers, he's going to have done 29 laps on those tyres. That's pushing it quite a lot, I think. I don't think Kuipers can actually go to the end of this race, actually. And I think even Ivan on the hards still might be a bit of a stretch.
We have a yellow in sector 1. I think that's Keza who's gone round.
I mean, do we think that the hards are capable of doing 24, 25 laps? It's got to be borderline around this place.
Well, it was interesting. I mean, every driver is different as we've seen in terms of their tyre wear. There's Scotty on the back of JC Batagor on your screen at the moment. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Speed Green take tyres ridiculous lengths, but generally speaking, I mean, I kind of thought that it was about 2% just over wear for the hards. Obviously, once you hit 60, Scotty down the inside of JC Batagor. I don't think JC Batagor is really going to make that too difficult. He knows he's not in this fight anymore with Scotty. Yeah, I always thought it was just 2% just over for the wear on the hards, which is the limiting tyre, the rear left round here. And I think Scotty's about to go past Matty Rudd with DRS. Yes, he does, pretty much. We've also got Owen behind trying to go past JC Batagor.
Yeah, that's moved on. Yeah, it's you're going to quite quickly see the difference here between Scotty and Matty Rudd with 17 laps difference on the same set of tyres. Yeah, I mean, the drivers, like as you say, you know, maybe they are looking good to make it to the end of the race. It's not going to be comfortable, especially with the tight, twisty nature of this circuit.
Ooh, as Owen pokes his nose down the inside of Matty Rudd, can he get down the inside for the chicane? The answer is no. He sits in behind for now. And I think he's definitely going to have a chance on the main straight because Scotty's kind of got down the road. But you just tell Owen looking for every possible open door because he knows he's losing time to Scotty sat behind this McLaren.
And this is where the patience comes in. Obviously, Owen there's just looked for a move down the inside there, that 90 right, and I think obviously Matty then comes in the pits. It was one of those where it was going to be a tough move to make, and in turn he's probably lost half a second by trying to go for that move rather than just sitting in behind Matty till the end, till the DRS zone.
Yeah, it's a weird one, patience around Hungary, isn't it? You need it, but let's face it, no driver has it. I think it's a fair
It's a difficult skill to master when you're driving the car, that's for sure.
So Matty Rudd back out in 13th on a fresh set of mediums. Well, I say fresh, one lap scrubbed set. Keza on the back of JC Batagol. I mean, is Batagol really going to try and take these hards to the end? I mean, how many has he done? He's done 23 laps on these tyres. Now, I know the likes of Kuipers is borderline, but probably doable. But those extra 5 laps on top, I mean, those tyres are going to be screaming very shortly.
It would be some sort of heroic effort if JC did manage to get to the end of this on those tyres. I guess at this point of the race, if he was to come in and pit, he's going to drop out of the point. So, is it worth just trying it and hoping for the best? And no, in he comes. He's coming in the pits now. JC Batagol. He's had enough of those.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I'd like to think on the pace that Scotty has, because Scotty's now already caught up to Sunboy. The pace Scotty has, if he can make his way through the traffic quickly, he's got 10 laps. What's the gap to the leader here? He's got 10 laps, 10.7. It's quite an ask, but the pace he's got here, if he can make his way through the traffic, I'd say it's outside chance for Scotty. I mean, definite podium chance here.
It's definitely possible, especially when you're considering we're thinking that maybe the guys at the front are pushing those hard tyres quite a long way. Yeah, he could actually have quite a big pace advantage come the end of the race. It's just a case of how quick he can clear everyone in between now. I think this is only a matter of time here with Sunboy, to be honest. It could be a DRS straight move. He could get him here.
He does get him here. Yeah, I mean, Sunboy 24 lap hold hard tyres. Not really going to be too much of a challenge. His next man is going to be Russman in the Mercedes, 2.2 up the road for Scotty. And then a further 8 tenths to Simply.
Russman's looking pretty racy as well. You know, he's within DRS here of Simply 90 as well, so he'll be wanting to try and get that podium. It's again, I think this could be close up quite a bit here now for the third place battle very, very soon.
Yeah, Russman's biggest issue here is his ERS. I mean, the car's harvesting quite a lot at the moment, so he hasn't got a lot of ERS to play with, which is probably why he's not been able to make a move on Simply. It looks like Kent is very close to Blackside for 9th place.
Ivan just starting to sneak up on Kuipers now. He's about half a second. It's fluctuating a little bit now, but he's there or thereabouts. I think if you can come out that last corner half a second, maybe 6 tenths behind, you can get a run down to the first corner. But it looks like Kuipers maybe has done enough here. Keep it a big enough gap.
It very much depends what traction Ivan gets out of that final corner, especially with those 5 lap younger tyres. But Owen, right on the back, is Kent and Blackside side by side through turn 12, and Blackside just about keeping that place. Sunboy's in the pits, so that battle is null and void.
Yeah, this will release Scotty a little bit now to catch up with the back. It's yellow flag in sector 2. There's a crash there. I think Eric Pancakes. Yeah, he's gone round there at turn 4, and the top boys are about to come across him now.
Yeah, hopefully he won't disturb that battle too much.
He's getting right out of the way here, which is good.
as Keza's round, turn 3. And we have a full safety
And it's a
car to end
safety
this
car.
right at the end of this race. Oh, this has just got interesting.
Well, this is played into Scotty's hands massively now. The only thing I would suggest maybe now, can Kuipers and Ivan come in for mediums here?
I mean, surely
They've
at
got
this
a big
point you're
gap to
looking at
Simply.
softs, aren't you?
Well, softs, yeah, no, true, that's a good point. I mean, they've got a big gap here now well, they did have a big gap to Simply that's come right down.
I think the timings kind of fluctuate on our screen because of the safety car. It tries to predict the safety car sort of times. But it also depends if they're trying to... Oh, so Kuipers is in. Ivan is not.
Yeah.
Simply's come in. Russman's come in. Scotty, I think that's absolutely the right decision by Scotty. He's not pitted. I think that's a massive mistake from Ivan.
He's going to be under attack. Definitely under attack here from Scotty and Owen here. He, obviously on far inferior tyres. Kuipers, if he can come out here, which he will in 4th on fresh mediums, Simply... Has Kuipers kept that? He has kept 4th. Kuipers could be in the best position of everyone.
Oh, that's not ideal for Matty Rudd. He's just taken a drive-through penalty for speeding on the safety car, which, as I know, it really doesn't help your race. It's interesting how there was only a couple of people that have taken the chance on the softs. I can only imagine it's because those are the people that only done maybe 2 runs in qualifying or only used 2 sets in qualifying.
Yeah, there'll be... yeah, I guess that's quite likely. Maybe there's a few people that have gone to do... I mean, some boys here says 1 lap, so maybe he's invalidated his qualifying lap, so he's just coming straight in the pits, hence why he's only got 1 lap on them. So definitely the right decision if you got the option available. But as you say, it's whether you had the option available in the first place.
Oh, you have to feel though Scotty in prime seat territory here. Although it very much depends how quick Kuipers gets fired up on those fresh mediums, but you feel Scotty can get past Ivan early doors on the restart. We know Ivan is not a particularly easy person to overtake at the best of times.
Again, around here, this circuit, track position is key. I'd say that's obviously Kuipers has given up the lead to fall down to 4th, but in his position, that was definitely the right decision. He was never going to hold on to that first place, I don't think, with the age of his tyres, especially now with the guys on the mediums right behind him. I think you're right. I think Ivan's got his work cut out here, but yeah, it's a case, like you say, of good track positioning and using the ERS in the right place, and it is still possible, I think, for Ivan.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the person this doesn't really help out is Eric. There he is. He's kind of sat between. I think that's the Alpha Tauri. Where is he? There's Mercedes. So he's sat between Russman and Sunboy at the moment. And as we know, the game doesn't have the ability to send lapped cars back around, which is a bit of a shame for Eric, because I mean, whilst it was unlikely he was going to unlap himself anyway, it'd be quite a nice mechanic to have in the game, really, to get these drivers back round and back in contention.
Yeah, it is a shame, like you say, that it doesn't give them that sort of second chance, really. But I would worry that if they did have that mechanic in the game, it would be another thing to go wrong. So I can understand why it's not in the game. But yeah, I mean, Eric here as well, we know how sensible he is. I think he'll just get out of the way straight away. I can imagine he'll just pull straight over to the right hand side to get out of the way of everyone.
We are about to go racing once again in the Invictus Racing League Tier 2 here at the Hungarian Grand Prix for round 3. You feel Ivan's going to go late. He's not going to want any sort of draft coming from his car to Scotty. He's going to have to try and catch him napping.
he went late last time, it's whether they're expecting it already because they've seen him do it once
Oh, they're
already.
bunched
So
up once again like last time. And I'll tell you what, Scotty stuck with him here. This is on down towards turn 1. Owen's there as well. Scotty to the outside. Outbreaks him into turn 1. Stays on the outside, still alongside. Bit of a kick from Ivan, and that is the lead lost. Here comes Owen. He's looking to follow through after that mistake from the Haas. Down the inside, can he keep the door open? Yes, he can, and he goes through. Ivan down to third. Now he's got Kuipers behind. We've got Ken who spun. We've got, I think, Carnage down at turn 3 or turn 2.
Yeah, a lot of cars now. Simply's out. Simply has retired. Not quite sure what's happened there. He's obviously been collected in all that, unfortunately. So yeah, Simply's gone from being one of the potential race winners at one point, and yeah, he's out.
Question is, how quick can Kuipers get past Ivan? Because now he's stuck behind that Haas, which is on 19 lap old hard tyres. Not necessarily got 19 laps of wear because of the safety cars, but it's fair to say that Scotty and Owen should, in reality, be pulling away from these two, and this is going to be hampering Kuipers' chances of effectively being able to explain the pit stop.
Yeah, he's going to want to get this done quick, like you say, because I think he will have a pace advantage then on Scotty and Owen. So, yeah, has he got enough? I don't think he's close enough here. Ivan goes a little bit defensive there. I think that was an unnecessary bit of defensive move, and I don't think Kuipers was ever really going to go for that. And I don't think he's close enough into turn 2 either.
Not ideal this for Kuipers in the AlphaTauri. He is losing time to those in front. Scotty leading this race from Owen. Through turn 4 we go. And Ivan, he's doing a fantastic job with those tyres at the moment, especially on the basis those hards don't heat up very quickly. I think as Lucas right on the back of Matty Rudd as we entered the chicane, but not close enough to make a move.
Yeah, definitely. Ads Lucas had a shaky start to this race, and we did question Ginger Tiger there with the 3-second penalty. We did question his strategy at one point, but he's up into 8th. He's scoring points. So
one person we need to look out for here is Russman. He's on soft compound tyres. He's stuck behind Kuipers, but if he can use those softs effectively, there's every chance he could get a podium. And as Daryl says as Daryl Kravitz in our chat says, he could do a whiffing special and go from 19th to 3rd, as unfortunately I think Matty Rudd has been disqualified for not serving his drive-through.
Yeah, unfortunately you have to serve them within 3 laps of getting them. And
here comes Russman. Sorry, Bruce. No, Russman down the inside of Kuipers for P4 on the soft compound tyres, and he gets the move done, finishes it round 3. That's a great finish to the move. Around the outside of 3, and now he's on the back of Ivan. So Russman looking good, but can he do what Kuipers has been unable to do so far and get past the Haas, which is seemingly the widest Haas on the planet?
The grip advantage here compared to Ivan's going to be massive. He's going to want it done really, definitely by the end of not the end of this lap, but at the start of the next lap, so he can maximise the grip while he's got it to try and catch the top 2. It's not out of the question, but he's really going to have to get this move done very quickly. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think DRS is enabled next lap, if I remember correctly here. So Russman, we know Russman tends to like to use the DRS, so hopefully he's got some in the bank to try and get this move done. I'm sure Ivan is basically trying to harvest everything he can until this main straight and just after turn 1. DRS open, Kuipers looking all over the place, can't quite find a gap. And we'll keep an eye on the front as well, Bruce, because Owen only 4/10 behind Scotty.
Yeah, it's closing up all over the grid here. It's starting to get a bit tasty here with only 3 laps to go. And I think now with Russman not being able to get the move done yet, I think this is a battle for 3rd and no more potentially. Just still a fantastic result if you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kuipers still lurking around. Those softs will also lose their advantage quite quickly. They, as we know in this game, they do tend to wear very quickly. But you feel if Russman can get past, we have to build a gap that it won't matter if he loses the grip on the tyres. But once again, his car is in regen mode, or harvesting mode. He was just for a second there, so he's using a lot of ERS, which means he's losing that extra tool to help him in this fight for third.
Yeah, you'd have to think this is a great opportunity now. DRS is open, coming down. I don't think he's going to have enough though. Still, is he? As you say, with not very much ERS, it's hampering him like massively here. So surprisingly, Kuiper's struggling to get past too, and now they've got Sunboy and Ants Lucas on them as well. So this is sort of turning into a 5-car battle for third now.
It's probably looking more than that the way it's going. Interesting. Eric Pancakes has not really lost any positions, even though he's a lap down. I'm sure he's going to have to give way at some point, because otherwise he's going to get penalties left, right, and centre from the F1 game stewards. But it's now starting to look like Russman's losing the grip of the softs, and Kuipers is now becoming more of a threat to him than he is being a threat to Ivan.
Yeah, it's always the danger with those softs. They're great for a few laps, but they do go off quite quick. It's looking like he's really now going to want to try and cling on for fourth, really. Barring a mistake from Ivan, I think he's probably safe. It was a bit wide there from Russman, looking at that. And you're right, we're now into a 7-car battle for third.
Tier 2 does not disappoint as Kent picks up a 3-second time penalty for track infringements. And here comes Kuipers.
Going to go outside.
I don't know if that was a bit of a wheel bang on the way in. And Russman closes the door.
And Pancakes has reigned now, I believe.
Russman very solidly closed the door on the exit of one there and decided Kuipers was not going to keep the foot in to keep it open. But now both of them with a lack of ERS, as now JC Battigal picks up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, it's insanely closer on the last lap. It is going to be difficult now because it's very much single file through this. It's going to be whether anyone just sort of blinks and makes a slight mistake now, I think, as to whether there's any position changes.
So you are keep an eye on this battle to the very last moment, because obviously we watched Scotty cross the line, because Scotty, I think he's pulled off a great strategy here in an Aston Martin. Here he comes round the final corner, and it's a second Aston Martin win of the week. Scotty wins the Hungarian Grand Prix from Owen in second. Ivan Belov will hang on to third, and Russman will just about clinch fourth from Kuipers. Sunboy will come home for sixth, Ads Lucas seventh, JC Battigal eighth, Ginger Tiger ninth, Blackside just coming on through the last few corners to claim 10th and the last points paying position. Eric Pancakes has finished in 12th. Here comes the Alfa Romeo up to the line. There he goes, 10th place, and Kent will be in 11th. He's lost an M plate on the left hand side of his wing, probably something to do with that turn 2 incident that happened. But 11th for the Alpine. But yeah, I mean, that's a great drive from Scotty and Owen. I mean, at one point they weren't really in it at all.
Yeah, they made the most of it there, and the safety car obviously towards the end helped them massively, but they still had to get the moves done to get out there and put themselves in that position. So yeah, no, great job from both of them, and a great job there from Ivan to hold on old tyres for third at the end too.
Yeah, and I think you can discount Russman as well, starting P19. I mean, me and you get called for doing ridiculous things from near the back of the grid, but from P19 to P4, you definitely can't complain about that, as I'm not sure you're really allowed to do that, take your steering wheel onto the podium.
I think he's going to have trouble on the weighing bridge with that one, so I don't think this is the end of this. But,
I mean, it might put him overweight if they weigh the car and then weigh the driver.
But, yeah, no, Russman's done a fantastic race there. I don't actually remember mentioning his name in any real incident, so I think he's had a pretty clean run. And sometimes that's what it's all about, really, is keeping your nose clean and let the result come to you. And that's what's happened with Russman there.
Absolutely. And Bruce, would you like to go through the provisional race results for the Hungarian Grand Prix?
Absolutely. Yeah, Scotty takes the win there with Owen in second. A good race for both of those guys. Ivan Beloff there rounding out the podium. Rustman, as we just said, in fourth. Kuipers and Sunboy fifth and sixth. Ads Lucas coming back from a bad position at the start there, finishes seventh. JC Batigal eighth. Ginger Tiger ninth. Blackside 10th. Kent 11th. Eric Pancakes, the last of the finishers, and the other 8 drivers unfortunately failed to finish the race.
Yeah, it was definitely action packed. That's for certain. Excuse me. Yeah, definitely action packed race. I mean, as you can probably tell by my voice, it's a little bit broken after that one. But yeah, I mean, that's a well deserved win from Scotty. Good podium from Owen. Obviously, that late safety car really changing the way things were. I mean, I think Ivan finishing third kind of shows Kuiper's done the right thing. It just didn't quite work out for him, although you kind of feel he would have possibly still stayed ahead of Ivan and maybe claimed third still.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, Kuiper was obviously on even older tyres than Ivan as well, so it's hard to know for sure. But yeah, I think Kuiper's had to make that move to go to the mediums there at the end. And yeah, unfortunately, it didn't quite pay off. But I think it would have been very hard for him to hold on to the win anyway. And sometimes you've just got to gamble and hope it pays off.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to see if Scotty and Owen and Ivan unable to make the interview. I'm just going to see if they can do a quick write up for us. If not, it's not to worry. But yeah, I mean, lots of differing factors in this race. Obviously, the safety car being one of them. But you feel there was definitely a few people that retired, the likes of Simply, Ruddo. I mean, even Keza had good pace. But obviously, just momentary lapses of concentration around Hungary, and we kind of just saw the results.
Yeah, I mean, at least 3 of the guys that have retired, we thought at one point were with a shout of the win. And yeah, like I say, Hungary, it's one of those circuits where you think it's a pretty safe circuit, but it can really bite you when you least expect it. It's just the runoffs are so small, and unfortunately, it has accounted for a few of the drivers there tonight. But yeah, they just sort of got to dust themselves off really, and sort of forget about it and head into next week afresh.
Yeah, I've actually got a couple of write-ups in from Scotty. Great race. First few safety cars made it a real struggle for him, but the last one saved him in the end. Really good pace from the top guys. He's looking forward to next week. For Ivan, he said he's not. Ivan saying about the safety cars, and he really enjoyed the race. Deserved a win by Scotty, who had good pace on the hard tyres, and Owen doing the Lewis Hamilton start of shouting out to the fans. Apparently, Cameron saw the brains behind the PC 1-2 there. Front runners who hadn't pit made it difficult to keep up with Scotty mid race, and their pace was just too similar at the end to make a move. But P10 to P2 isn't too shabby, considering Owen wasn't confident at all coming into this race. So some nice words from the podium runners there, and the main thing is all 3 of them. Obviously, you're going to enjoy a podium, but the general race was enjoyed.
Yeah, it looked like a fun race, and as we've said already, quite mixed strategies, and the safety cars just keep you on your toes, and yeah, anyone that comes out with a good result out of that deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that is the Invictus Racing League Tier 2, the third round for the Hungarian Grand Prix, in partnership with gridfinder.com. Coming up, we still got more racing this week. Tomorrow we have the top tier of the Equal Performance League from Hungary. Same start time, 8 o'clock. That is with myself and Webbo. On Thursday we have the Realistic Performance League, where you can catch Bruce racing in that one. That one is live with Malc and Tim. Again, same time, same place at Hungary. As for Tier 2, next week we head to Austria, which, if I'm not mistaken, Bruce, is a sprint evening.
I'm gonna have to trust you on that one. I believe it has been mentioned, but I am not 100%, so I don't want to say it is and seem a bit silly at the end of it, really.
I've just double checked. It is a sprint evening for Austria, in which I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's possibly a one-shot quali, and then obviously a shorter, obviously the third race distance of the main race distance, followed by the main feature race. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one works itself out, because we could see a fair few penalties or incidents in the sprint race whilst people try to make their grid positions for the main race.
Yeah, definitely. The sprint race does add that extra bit of spice to it, and it's that difficult conundrum of do you push for places or just settle for your position. So yeah, it'll be an interesting mix. Quite a lot of our drivers, unless they've been doing the RP League, wouldn't have done the sprint race format before. So yeah, it could be interesting to see how people adapt.
Absolutely, and that's all to come next week, which is obviously going to be very exciting. I mean, first time for the Equal Performance League of having sprint evenings. But other than that, that is it for this evening. Thank you, Bruce, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure, as always.
No problem.
And for everyone who has been watching, this has been the Invictus Racing League Tier 2. If you have enjoyed tonight's racing, please don't forget to like the stream and also subscribe to the Invictus Racing League channel to not miss any racing. Like I say, 2 more races this week to come from Hungary. You're not going to want to miss any of them. But from myself and Bruce, thank you all for watching this evening. Good night.